On occasion, you may encounter an animal, either in literature or the wild, that will cause you to stop and wonder how such a weird creature came to exist. The purpose of freakish adaptations can sometimes perplex even the most skilled biologists, but there often exists a ready explanation. Still, that doesn't make these animals any less bizarre or disturbing. Tunichates are just plain weird. Although extremely primitive and almost entirely immobile, these inorganic-looking entities are, in fact, animals. They are not conventional invertebrates, either. Belonging to a subphylum of the chordates, they are actually related to vertebrates. Pyura chilensis is one of the more shockingly bizarre Tunichates, and seems to disprove the popular wisdom that you cannot get blood from a stone. The creature looks for all the world like an ancient, craggy rock, but inside is bright, red flesh. These South American sea tomatoes are a popular delicacy in Chile, a large part of their limited native range. Most orb weavers epitomize the stereotypical, ordinary garden spider. However, a small subsection in the genus Macrocantha bend the outer limits of human comprehension. These tiny web builders measure less than a couple of centimeters, about half an inch, but instead of looking like a normal arachnid, they resemble a giant, albeit stiletto-thin, cow skull. On each side of the orb weaver's abdomen, long, decurved, and solid horns extend from a sort of rear carapace. Horns on a spider are pretty weird, but even weirder is their sheer size. Each horn is up to 4 times the arachnid's length. The horns are not known to serve any specific purpose, but comparison with other animals suggests that the ornaments could serve as sexual symbols, or even as badges to show dominance. The clear waters off California contain lush, otherworldly forests of kelp. And in these kelp forests, wild, toothy beasts can be found lurking. The California sheephead is a freakish fish, with huge teeth more commonly expected in a mammal. In order to effectively crush shellfish, the sheephead uses enormous, almost human or dog-like teeth, within immensely powerful jaws. These shell-crushing fangs are equally suited to crushing bones, should a human hand get in the way, and can deliver serious bite wounds. The giant fish also sports showy pinkish and black scales. Oddly, all sheephead are born female. Social and environmental factors determine whether an individual fish will remain female or become a male. The bizarre, all-black songbird known as the long-wattled umbrella bird is a certain jaw-dropper when spotted. The creature sports a long, feather-covered appendage dangling from its chest, which assumes a perfectly rod-shaped form. The ludicrous bird looks as if it were mounted on a post. The giant wattle may be expanded during courtship routines and contracted while the bird hunts lizards and collects fruits, seeds, and palm nuts. Unfortunately, this endangered bird is restricted to a tiny area of Ecuador and Colombia and is increasingly threatened by hunting and land use changes. Mongolia's rare saga antelope is a bizarre animal with a truly preposterous, yet purposeful, proboscis. This novel nasal apparatus means the antelope looks at first glance to be all nose, or a real-life version of Alf. The bizarre snout is thought to warm air before it is inhaled, and also filters dust from its bleak surroundings. This living relic once roamed throughout North America and much of Eurasia, instead of its limited current range in the Central Asian steppes. The amazing creature is unfortunately critically endangered due to high levels of poaching. The Saga Conservation Alliance is spearheading efforts to restore populations, and welcomes public support. Blind mole rats are strange Eurasian mammals that burrow through the ground, largely devoid of sight. In a truly bizarre example of recent evolutionary change, their eyes remain functional, but are covered by a layer of skin, rendering the animals nearly sightless. The covered eyes still allow the mole rats to perceive light and darkness, while the layer of skin seems to protect them from the constant dirt exposure and abrasion. Interestingly, researchers discovered notable physical differences between mole rats living in the same areas. This is thought to have stemmed from lifestyle-based segregation of specific populations. Frogs, like most amphibians, need large amounts of water due to their porous, respiring skin. The water-holding frog is no exception, but still manages to survive in the dry, sandy deserts of the Australian outback. How does any amphibian manage such a feat? By carrying its water with it. During dry periods, the frog burrows deep into the ground and produces a mucus-filled cocoon, incorporating shed skin, which encases its entire body. The cocoon lets the frog retain massive quantities of water, allowing it to hibernate for up to 2 years until the rains come again. Aboriginal Australians have learned to gently squeeze the frog and drink some of its retained water, before releasing the animal unharmed.